So how you doing? So I did a little bit of poll, and most people are going to hear this or are going to watch this rather on repeat. So if you're just joining, this is Six Shop. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about some of the new information about the War of Rohirrim. So one thing first off is that the War of Rohirrim, it looks like at this point it's going to be about 130 minutes. So once again, for those who are just joining, basically going to be going over some of the basic news updates about the War of Rohirrim, and I'm going to talk briefly about the channel. This live is going to be short. I'm going to try now to most likely every Saturday now between 9:30 and 10, I'm going to try to do a live, pretty brief live, and just chop it up about news and then talk a little bit about the channel. So anyway, I'm going to go for this one article. It's from the onering.net, and so I'll talk a little bit about it. And most likely, because I'm not going to go for the whole thing right now, I'll do a video about it. So the Annecy Film Festival, which is hosting the first look at the War of Rohirrim on June 13th, which already passed, has updated its site listing to reveal that the length of Warner Brothers Animation's forthcoming feature anime will be 130 minutes. That's actually substantial for an animated film and will place it among the top 50 longest animated films of all time. So, just off the top of my mind, I would probably hazard to guess that some of the top would probably be some Studio Ghibli movies. Like one, for example, would be that I don't know if it's the most lengthy, but it's could potentially be one of the longer ones, A Spirited Away, and that's just off the top of my head. I could be wrong. So let's see. Length is no indication of quality, but good animation is time and resource intensive. I think the director that they have, and they have a Japanese director who worked on one of the Japanese anime classics. I mean, like, and I did a video about him. If you want, it's on my channel. I think pretty much I don't see how they would go wrong with him as a director, but that's just my personal opinion based on his work, because he's the previous video that I did on the War of Rohirrim, I brought that to bear, that one of his main concerns, and I didn't, and it's from another guy's channel. I took a clip, but one of his main concerns, the director of the War of Rohirrim, is really, are we creating something for the fans? Are we doing something for the fans that the fans are going to like? Are we doing that, or are we doing something else? Because, and basically his premise has always been to really kind of think of others, which is really very, very healthy. So let's see. So it also helps, so WBA's commitment to a long feature indicates confidence in the story they have to tell. It also helps explain the long development. The project was first announced in June 2021 and will not premiere until April 2024. I don't know, to me that really feels kind of pretty healthy, because that seems to me like they don't want to rush it, and that they actually want to do a really good job. I really think that probably, and it's just kind of maybe the way we're going. And if a minute, I don't want to really compare it to the Sony Spider-Verse, but I think, it might be an interesting way, or that where we're going, where the animated movies or animated content is going to be better than live action. I just find that interesting, but that looks like maybe that's the way we're going. Let's see. So for comparison, the newest Makoto Shinkai anime, Suzume, began production in March 2020 and only debuted in cinemas earlier this year. Yeah, but that seems about right. Historically, I would really think that a lot of times with anime, they're just very, very careful about quality. At least they used to be. And frankly, I tuned out a little bit up until recently. Okay, let's see. So, the WOTR's director, Kenji Kamiyama, has also been busy directing other projects: Ultraman, Blade Runner, Black Lotus, and Ghost in the Shell, SAC 2045. So some of the animation techniques, and all of this is, I'm just going from this article, The One Ring, or 2D versus 3D blending. The other thing of note in Annecy's overview of the presentation is the animation techniques listed. Much, of course, has been made that the War of the Rohirrim is being animated in 2D because everyone panics mightily as soon as the words 3D animation are even whispered. But 2D over 3D blending, typically for effects or backgrounds, has become a staple in even some of the most popular anime and can look non-intrusive and seamless when executed with skill. And then they sort of go on and they kind of get into some spoilers. And not necessarily in this article, which is from June the 12th. There was another article much more recent, which I'm going to jump to actually now. Let's see, where are we? So once again, what I'm doing for those who are just joining or watching this in replay, which is most people, I'm basically just talking a little bit about some of the news, the updates around the War of the Rohirrim animated movie, which is coming out in 2024. And so let's see, another one. Excuse me. No, I think there was something that just came out. Let me just take a look at this other article. Right. So while we wait for the Rings of Power Season 2, this prequel film is set nearly 200 years before the Two Towers and tells the tale of the legendary Helm Hammerhand. The War of Rohirrim was announced in June 2021, and it won't be the end for big screen Lord of the Rings movies. It was confirmed in February 2023 that Warner Brothers is developing new movies after signing a deal with Middle Earth Enterprises. And let's see, So one thing is that wasn't really clear that we can say, and that I think is a good point, is that Miranda Otto is going to be playing Eowyn in the, as far as the voice, she's going to be acting out Eowyn in the movie, which I think is pretty awesome. And then there's some other people who are quite spectacular, but I think the most important one that really is going to get a lot of people stoked is Miranda Otto. And I think I'll just go for the plot. Not really major spoilers, but and this is from another article from the UK News, Yahoo, from a couple of days ago. So the movie is set to explore the as yet untold story of the Helm's Deep Fortress, following the life of the legendary King of Rohan, Helm Hammerhand. Helm and his people are forced to make a brave last stand in the fortress of Hornburg, later known as Helm's Deep, after the ruthless Dunlending Lord Wolf, hell-bent on vengeance over his father's death, launches a surprise attack. And that's the summary. I think I'm going to explore that even further, and I'll be exploring that further in I think like a video that I'll probably come out early next week. I think outside of that, I actually I made some commitments in the past for certain videos, and a lot of them, it's not that I haven't been working on them, but it's more so just sort of like getting like time to do a bunch of different stuff. I think that my commitment going forward is going to be really trying to do as many shorts as possible, and then definitely bare minimum like one longer video a week, mostly on the weekend, and then I want to do the lives. And so to sort of like wrap up, I think that the more that comes out about the War of Rohirrim, it just really looks like it's going to be pretty much like a home run. And I think for tonight, I'll leave it there. Thanks so much for watching it on the replay. Later.